Hello, good people. Welcome back to Full Bore Silver emergency broadcast. Obviously, we have one of the most historic, epic examples of financial manipulation in the history of humankind going on right now. Silver smashed into the 70s from 122 not a day or two ago. We could hit 73.67, which is the 50-day moving average on some charts. You wanted that pullback, you wanted that opportunity to dollar cost average in. Well, this is it. You can't even get on JM Bullion's site. Monument's all locked up. I know somebody that's been on hold with SD Bullion for an hour and a half trying to pick up some AU. Now's your opportunity if you can't get it. I'm going to show you a chart in the regular video that has historical precedent for these moves. It's the dying capitulation of a wounded animal. And that's what you see in the U.S. economy right now with the health of the dollar, the health of the bond system, the usury debt-based nonsense monopoly system that we live under that seeks to entrap so many people, destroy small businesses, the middle class, the lower classes, the redistribution of wealth into the hands of a few. It's just wild. It's historic. You really have to appreciate it. It also teaches a lot of discipline if you're playing in the options markets, futures markets, equities markets. You can't chase price action. We'll get into that in the regular video. But take this opportunity to dollar cost average into a bit more physical would be my recommendation, but here's the regular video. Good morning. Welcome back to Full Bore Silver. Happy Friday the 30th. Well, we have silver and gold markets smashed down from all-time highs nominally. Silver from near 122 down to 95. Basically accounting for an 8 sigma move. That is 8 standard deviations if you're a statistics major. That is a 1 in 6.4 trillion odds in normal distribution. Obviously, insanely heavy manipulation. We have the LBMA close today for a technical issue. We have inflation numbers out today, and they are up, which it's incredible they even released them. They've either been obfuscating or deleting numbers for the past couple quarters in terms of real labor, real CPI, real inflation. So the fact that that released, so we have the SPX down, we have treasuries up, bond yields up, we have the US dollar in decline, we have metals in decline, we have the LBMA closed, and we have these 8 sigma moves. We have multiple war on multiple fronts. So a lot of things aren't correlating right now. There's a lot of up and down. Obviously, these are not free and fair markets that are taking place with these COMEX fake paper prices. We have Shanghai as high as 146 an ounce and the COMEX fake paper prices at 95 an ounce. Nothing is correlating. Nothing is adding up. But take heart. This is a chart which I'll attach. Weimar Germany, up until the total and complete collapse of the fiat currency, we saw the same sort of wild swinging moves in markets. There is a normalcy bias, a complacency amongst a lot of asset holders, a lot of wealthy people, a lot of business people, a lot of normies that are just trying to get by. We have lived in a suppressed interest rate environment for the past 30 years, and now that is all changing because nobody wants to hold U.S. debt. And so what we're seeing is wild swings in markets. We're seeing the SPX up, hit 7,000 this week, all-time highs. The easiest way to cut through all the butter is to use gold as your new metric of standard. Use ratio charts, use spread charts like Michael Oliver says. The ratio charts, I get more from Andy Finding Value. The guy is a brilliant, brilliant guy. Gold is your monetary unit to establish the real value of things, the real value of the U.S. stock market, the real value of the spending power of the U.S. dollar, the real value of silver, in fact. So that's what I'm using to do the technical analysis on the commodities, the emerging markets, oil, natural gas, fertilizer, industrial chemicals, all petroleum products, uranium, gold, and silver, most importantly. Silver, you're going to see these wild moves. Now, I've charted back to Christmas on the 4-hour timeline. We are in an ascending channel on silver. When in doubt, zoom out. Over a long-term pattern, we are completely healthy. We are bouncing off of levels that is right within my column, but you are going to see wild volatility. Once again, I mean, we have 6 sigma moves. We have 8 sigma moves stacking up on top of each other. What a wild time to be alive. It's fascinating to watch. Emotionally unsettling for some, but what you have to do during market days like today, take a step back, take a breather, reaffirm your thesis. You shouldn't be buying things at tops. You shouldn't be chasing price action. As Warren Buffett said, and just to restate, I don't agree with everything that he stood for or stands for, as kind of more of a globalist tent on things, but the guy made billions and billions of dollars and knew when to buy markets at lows. You don't buy at peaks. He said the market is there to serve you, not to instruct you. So I had a gentleman who I'm very friendly with, amazing, great guy, but yesterday people get caught up in the price action, the excitement, and no shade, I do too, except you do have to be disciplined. You should not be chasing price action. And he wrote in and he said, I could kick myself. I could have made 20 grand yesterday if I had sold at the top and then rebought at the bottom. That is unhealthy investment behavior and psychology, because the odds of you being able to trade an 8 sigma event and then do it successfully in a recurring pattern, that's probably a 9 sigma event, being able to do that successfully. Your best bet is to buy and hold physical silver. I mean, I see some of these options positions that some of the mining fanatics are after on X. The amount of money they probably lost this morning is staggering. The amount of margin calls, which is going to accelerate the move down. And then, as some people have asked, is there machine trading? Is there algorithmic trading with the ETFs and all the major asset managers? Yes, there is. They use computers. These are quantum computers. And when they see sell signals, they start to amplify those sell signals, which is going to amplify the movements down. And so that's why you're seeing oversized moves to the downside. But again, I mean, these are all fake US, fake paper, COMEX prices and LBMA manipulated prices. These aren't the prices around the world. You've got industrial giants, the largest EV and solar companies, and Samsung and Toyota. They are buying 1,000 unit kilo bars. They cannot buy enough. That's why the price is $146 on the Shanghai Gold Exchange, and we're over here trading monopoly money. It's crazy. So I wouldn't get too despondent about it. Zoom out a bit. I neglected to mention the other day on the Alistair McLeod interview, he calls for the U.S. dollar and the Federal Reserve to be kaput by the end of 2027. So say goodbye to those entities, according to Alistair McLeod. Interesting observation. Peter Schiff was on David Len. Okay, now, Bank of America class action suit they've elected to go forward with a class action suit from the court, basically saying that Bank of America aided Epstein's trafficking by providing banking services and obstructing the law. There's an amazing correlation between the banks that have shorted silver and the banks that have aided Epstein, isn't there? Boy, some really upstanding, morally great people there. So, you hate to see it. Jim Cramer, silver. He says silver's overblown, silver's overdone, so take heart in that. Inverse Cramer. Jim Cramer, Harvard MBA, insanely successful, first name basis with every major S&P CEO. Either he has a fundamental misunderstanding of capital rotation and the markets, or he is just lying. So I don't think Jim Cramer is a stupid guy. I think all of this is completely calculated. There are major moves being made on kind of a macro, federal, and World Bank sort of level that are trying to get people out of physical hard assets and into digitalized tokens, to cryptos, to non-tangible assets. Don't fall for that. Now, I am wearing my Live Free or Die shirt, and big shout out to my peoples up in Northeast Kingdom, Vermont, New Hampshire, the Live Free or Die state, Canamangus Highway, the presidentials. I used to, Lake Winnipesaukee, I used to ski up at Bretton Woods. It's one of the most peaceful places to ski. It's like the lowest wind of any ski area in the Northeast, which is amazing because you look across the valley at Mount Washington, which has the highest recorded wind speeds in the world right across the valley on the peak of that mountain. But you also look across and you see the Mount Washington Hotel, beautiful historic hotel. It's where they had the original Bretton Woods Accords in 1944. What were the goals of the Bretton Woods Accords? Well, the goals were to reduce volatility in currencies, debasement in currencies, establish a stable financial world order. Wow, great job on that, guys. So now we're just seeing absolute dollar implosion. We're seeing bond yields through the roof, instability, breakdown of economies, societies. We're seeing this huge fracturing between the West and the BRICS countries. We're seeing the abandonment of U.S. treasuries, the abandonment of the SWIFT system in adoption of Enbridge and the unit and BRICS. We're seeing China now establish bullion banks all over the Belt and Road Initiative countries, BRICS countries and allies. They are going to transact in a physical hard asset backed currency. They're done with the U.S. dollar. Now, I did go to a coin shop yesterday in Central Texas. I stopped by. One of the commenters a few days ago got completely apoplectic that I had not talked more, or why I hated coin shops, or why I wasn't supporting local coin shops. I have no idea where this came from. I've been to plenty of coin shops. I even have been into pawn shops. I've talked about how I went to the thrift market out in Fredericksburg, Texas, where they were accepting Libertads and Eagles for goods. I love to support local businesses. I buy local honey. I buy local agro products. I buy... The last place you'll ever catch me is like a Walmart or someplace like that. I try to buy as little as possible on Amazon. But it's like saying that I don't mention peacocks enough. Like, I don't really have strong feelings one way or another on peacocks, okay? I don't mean to offend peacock lovers, but back in the early 20s when I was stacking most of my silver, IRA, which is kept in depository, I wasn't buying at a local coin shop, but I did want to see what was going on and talk to the owner. So I Googled it and saw when the hours were open and drove an hour to go see the coin shop during regular business hours, and it was closed. There was a big close sign, so I called from outside the coin shop, and there was no answer, and the mailbox was full. So I don't know how you run a business like that, but that was my experience yesterday with, I believe it was CJ's Coin Shop in Buda, Texas. So it's got great reviews. I don't know. I'm sad that I missed it, but that was your coin shop review for that commenter. I was trying to support them, and I'm not sure I would have bought anything, but it was a no-show. So that was that. A couple interesting expos here from Health Ranger Mike Adams, who used to be at BlackRock fund manager. So he knows the inside. By far the largest gold and silver paper sell-off in history took place about 2 hours ago. This was the first sell-off a couple days ago. Clearly, it was an effort by the U.S. bankster gangsters to plunge metals, and yet, in about 1 hour, gold and silver has already recovered 50% from the plunge and is skyrocketing back to where it was. And somebody is going to be left holding all the paper shorts. The U.S. has lost control of the metals markets and will never get it back. because the US dollar is collapsing and the US empire is in its last desperate chapter of existence. I tend to agree, everything now is fake in this country. We've got basically fake elections, fake news, fake currency, fake markets, fake body parts, fake genders. There's a lot of artificial nonsense. And now what's supposed to save the economy? Artificial intelligence. Here's one by Bark Meta. Today's flash crash in gold and silver was an 8 sigma event. To put that in perspective, the odds of this happening naturally is the same as winning the Powerball twice in a row. Historic is an understatement. Weimar X says, warning, something big is coming. 2007 to 9 housing collapse, gold pumped 670 to 1060. 2019-2021 scamdemic, gold pumped 1200 to 2030. 2025 to 26, nothing yet. Gold pumped 2060 to 5520, almost 5600. If you still think nothing will happen, you're wrong. Gold doesn't move like this in a normal market. Gold moves like this when trust is breaking. I've studied macro for 10 years and I've called almost every major market top, including the blah, 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 blah. So gold isn't going up and down. It's the debasement of the US currency. It's world events, it's war, it's inflation, etc. So we're going to see a lot of volatility in these markets. Don't get discouraged. Take hope. We'll soon be living in Weimar, Germany. Just kidding. A little bit of gallows humor there for you. Anyway, have a fantastic Friday. Go do something other than stare at the markets, chop around. Enjoy your family, enjoy your pets, enjoy your hobbies. We'll talk to you soon. Full Bore Silver, like, subscribe, share. Take care.